どうも皆様、おはこんばんにちは、ヒロでございます。下手でも関係ない楽しむだけだをモットーに、シャーロック・ホームズ・チャプター1、続きをやっていきたいと思います。はい。前回の続きでございまして、事件の捜査へと乗り出して、犯人を捕まえようという、全然ところまで行ってたんですけども、そこで警察がやってきて、調査がね、無理やり止められてしまったと。いうところでね、自分も実は事件の容疑者になっちゃったということで、とんでもないことになっちゃったというところですね。で、一応警察、自分を聴取していたオズワルドからの提案で、自分がこの事件を解決する代わりに母の死に関する文章を見つけてくれるという、交換条件ですね、を提示してもらったので、それをね、なので、改めて事件調査に必要だと。犯人は自分自身を洗った。ポピは近くの部屋で襲われた。サントスは執事長だ。ボーケルが渡された手紙のせいだ。警察を密告したサントス。サントスは容疑者だ。ただこれ自身だとなんとも言えんな。まずボーゲルに話聞くか。気分はどうだいボーゲル。最悪の気分だろう。俺もそうだ。
Werner, are you all right? Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself. You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you. Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys? Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me. Well done.If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
嘘をつく気はない。嘘をつく気はない。
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception. Really?How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another? That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
なんかここで話聞けの？
I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
全部聞いていいのかっていう気がするけどな。
I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Panchetti. Do I know him? The major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
なるほど。特にここには何もねえのか。俺がいたのがここだよな。違う？
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
彼の死は時間の問題だった。お悔やみ申し上げる。
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
うん。自分で入れ墨。爪を噛んでいる。神経質。え？すげえ切り傷。自傷か。精神的に病んじゃってんのかな。足かせの傷。なるほど。首のけど血が溜まった傷。誰かに殴られたか首絞められたかってことかな。あ、この人にもついている。やけどの跡。ファビオと同じか。自分の体から乖離している。ファビオの相棒であるマティスターは辛い人生を送ってきた。まだ子供だった頃から彼女は奴隷として働いていた。うん。同じ奴隷であるファビオと出会ったが、二人が似た印を持っているのはそのためだ。古い傷は思春期の奴隷生活の頃のものだ。奴隷時代の経験で負った心の傷は現在も彼女を苦しめている。長年による虐待でマティスタは自分の体に気を使わなくなったようだ。彼女は客に体を売って客の好きなようにさせている。以前こういうことでためらいがない。またマティスタは体につむいている。で、彼女も現在、神秘主義に傾倒している彼女はオカルトの収集をしている。マティスタ過去の出来事を忘れようとしており、演者としての生活が金を過ごしているのだ。過去について自分を罰してるっていうか、自分の体が乖離しているっていう方が正しい気がするんだけどな。
You have both old and new scars. Some from the time when you were a slave with Fabio. Other scars have a different origin. The guests pay good money to torment you?
I am skilled in giving pleasure, but I don't participate in such practices.
本当か？
I thought your body was
For sale? It's true. Many unwanted things were done to my body. And the pain helped me to discover...
Occult deities? Yes, the tattoo speaks loudly of it.
Yes. Your gods abandoned me, and the ones I favor now are more protective of me.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Gordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
どこで怪我をしたん
The
だ？
bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
噛みついてくる。
I know I can handle the news.
はあ。うん、俺の予想とは全然違ったな。次はあんたに話を聞くべきか？
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
If you cooperate,
やめろ、その気持ち悪い言い方。
there will be no need to meet with the boars again.
That voice. Vernus, friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
まずはあんただ。容疑者であることで変わりはねえかな。化粧している。女性的ってことか。いや、別に男性でも化粧はするか。急いで手を洗った。非常に贅沢な靴。デーモン剤による発疹。潔癖症。いや、年齢を隠してるって方が早いのか。潔癖症。どっちだなんか年齢を隠してるっていうよりかは、年齢を隠してんのか。わからん。これどっちが正しいんださっき普通に外したからな。潔癖症でいくか。なんか、手洗ってるっていうのは、どうなんだろうな。まあ、潔癖症にしとこうか。
You are so focused on cleanliness that these products are severely damaging your skin.
I would laugh at you. If only my cheeks didn't hurt. Not exactly.
はい、失敗した。
A young man who has yet to confront his own aging couldn't hope to understand.
おいかよ。
These chemicals are quite literally melting your face.
Ah, the price of beauty. I'll be fine. I'm sure of it.
は
Such a
い。
methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
まあパーティーについて詳しく知りたい。
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
怖いな、この人。なぜボーゲルを招待した？
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
誰を招待する？
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true laborers, I see. What was
ファ
Fabio
ビオは
like?
どんな人だっ
His
た？
personality, his habits. Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties, young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty, otherwise I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly.
可
What
能
about
性
the
はあ
other
る。
guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about. That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about.
Do you have any idea
こっちか。
who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchu?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me.
俺じゃねえよ。
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
隠してることがあるはずだ。はあ。
You'd better ask someone else.
うーん。
That's not something I know much about. You'd better ask someone else.
あ、こっちか。
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
Mm-hmm. さあ、ここまでは事件、このチケットの提供者には62番から60番の事件を上手。どちらにしても、サントスがだな。めちゃくちゃ出てきた。なんだこれ。カートマンチョスは几帳面で清潔だ。間違えたね、これ。最近怪我をした。マティスター傷つけたのはファビオだ。服に傷をつけられた。犯人は自分自身を洗った。ああ、こうなるね。うん。こっからどうするかだな。ここはお前と。あれ。あと誰かと話できんの？
This area is restricted.
立ち入り禁止かい。
I know you can untangle this mess.
記録庫にいるオズワルド巡査。記録庫ってどこ？そうそう、着替えるか。てか、今着替えられる。よし。それでもお前ら酒飲んでんのか？すげえ神経してんなお前ら。アーカイブかな。 カートマンチョス、送り物。
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
ありがとう。サントスは逮捕されて、現在は押収された所持品とともに7番取調べ室。7番っておお。こっちか。いや、ちゃうがな。3。あ、こっちか。こんにちは。
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
あれなんか、怪我の跡がある。過敏症。何度も修繕されている。変色。この服を使い回してるってことなのかな。血を踏んだ後。体には症状が見られ、厚化粧で傷ついた肌を隠そうとしている。執事長のスーツに大きくの穴があり、継ぎはぎだらけになっている。染料を使ってスーツの見た目を改善しようとしていた。経済的に困窮してんのかな。柔道の鮮度ってわけではないんじゃないかな。外してそう。
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his
合
employer,
って
that
た
is
っ
true.
ぽい。
And the blood on your shoe. Where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
ファビオが願ったと。
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
カートマンチョスの遺言状とメモ。遺言状に添えられたメモの内容は次の通りだ。怠け者のサントス。貴様が遺言に参加したいと懇願してきたから入れてやった。これが私の新しい遺言だ。カート。メモの下に書かれた遺言の内容を次の通りだ。マンチョス邸の執事長ではサントス・ピンチェッティには口ひげの硫黄のワックスの瓶と塩のランプが与えられる。この塩の気遣いを忘れるなかれ。執事というか、まあ、部下たち全員に対して、 優しくねえんだな、カートは。これを聞こうか。うん。ああ、まあ、そっか。おじ？
The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard. And he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship. Please let me out.
なんというかだな。そっか。おじなのか。なのに遺産を与えないっていうのはなかなかだな。ちょっと聞いてみっか。
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him.
それは無駄遣いしてるからじゃないの?
Sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
クソだな。もうこいつは犯人でいいんじゃない？もうこいつは犯人でいいんじゃねえかな。犯人は自分自身を洗った。カートはファビアに、サントス。オーゲを逮捕されたので、ファビオのポケットに入っていたからだ。
The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
なんか話できる?
I know I can handle the news.
そうだな。
Please let me out.
ああ。いやー、これだけでは事件の捜査はできんぞ。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers. Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
うわー、やばい。どうしよう、話終わっちゃったよ。なんか証拠があんのかな。でも、調べろっていうものも出ねえかな。あれ
Did you hear that Zilio Capello is in jail? A dead body was found in his...
オペラ設備で起きた事件の詳細。復讐。新聞の集約記事。違う。無罪を主張。妻を指揮され、私の絨毯した。わかるかー。マジで当てぶつっぽ。
In the police. Let's pretend to be cops, eh? We can just stand around and look confused.
Oh? こっからどうしたらいいんだろうな。ちょっとよくわかんねえな。
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock. The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
これって外出れんのかな。出れるわ。嘘でしょ。なるほど、外に出れんのか。ってことは現場も操作しねえとまずいな、これ。OK。では、一旦お時間的にちょうどいいので、ここまでにして、次回はこの続きからやっていきたいと思います。ご視聴いただきまして、誠にありがとうございました。また次回の動画でお会いいたしましょう。またね。